All right, this is Clay Nelson Life Balancer, and we're talking about the topic of asking for what you want and how people have a lot of fear around that. And my friend Mario's on the phone. That he was on the phone before we went on the break, and he's still on the phone. Now I can't get rid of this guy. And Mario, I got to tell you, I went for 2 or 3 shows, maybe 4 shows. I hear from you, and I went, gee, man, maybe he doesn't like me anymore or anything else. And then you come back on this show, and I think we need to go another 4 or 5 shows before we do this again. Anyway, now, what was your question again? Seriously, my friend.
Very good. At a tender age that I am, a great grandfather,
Yeah.
I've decided that I really would like to start a business.
Okay.
A family-oriented business.
Yep.
But I need my family, my wife, and my kids older kids to be able to help me with it. And I'm having difficulty of how do I frame asking them to want to end up helping me in this kind of endeavor that may be kind of off the wall to them.
That's really good.
Good question, yeah.
So I got a couple of questions. First of all, is this done with the technology that your family all understands? And,
Yes.
It's kind of like done on a computer or,
Right.
That type of thing. So it's
Absolutely.
kind of like what the kids are used to living around, right?
Yeah, it's audio and video
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff that I personally cannot do.
Yeah, but they can, and they can
Yes,
help you do
yes,
that?
yes.
Okay, and do you have a product that you're going to sell or an idea
Yes.
or are you going to make a difference for kids or, does it require speaking or some sort of presentation ability with your family?
Right, and the kind of the services that we're providing was something that with audio and visual
Okay.
that my kids end up having to do. And
okay, and then the last question is: Do your children? And this is a straight question.
Right,
Okay, do your children have your ability? I mean, you're a phenomenal person on what you do, and you're on film and on radio and everything else. So it's like, do they have your ability?
man, that's a great question.
Yeah, see, it's like
and they're much more narrow in focus. Obviously, when
well,
they,
not only that is I've asked many times to get my kids on my radio show and get my kids to stand up in my workshops and get
Right.
my kids to travel with me, and they have I don't know. It's almost like, gee, I don't want to compete with Dad, or I can't do it as well as Dad, or I don't even like what Dad does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what if the business would be about something your kids wanted to produce?
Uh-huh.
Got it? What if you were the question instead of telling them what the answer was? Got it?
I like that.
What if the question was, gee, guys, as a family, to keep us all together in one place and maybe make a buck or two and make a difference,
Right, uh-huh.
how could we, not I, but how could we produce something that's audio-visual so we could be in the faces of 10,000 people instead of 10 people and make a difference and have, a 9,999 time chances more of making a bigger difference and being more successful, easier. You got it? So do the logical way of doing things. You know what I mean? You hear what I'm saying?
I'm hearing what you're saying.
So go after the logic and go after them wanting to contribute their ideas, which produces ownership, which you better be careful because they could wall you out of their show.
That's true.
And that's what you want anyway.
I like that. That makes an awful lot of sense. Let me end up thinking about that and how to rephrase it again.
Way cool, Mario.
Thank you, brother.
All
Appreciate
right,
it a
yeah,
lot.
I'll be talking to you on PR Web. Let's go dance.
Okay, friend.
All
Talk
right.
to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Take
Mario.
care.
I have the perfect quote for him here. It's from Tom Connolly, and it says, "He who asks a question may be a fool for 5 minutes, but he who never asks the question remains a fool forever."
Forever.
So there we are. There's our friend Mario the Fool,
No.
but not forever.
Mario, I didn't say that, okay? Now, I just read another quote, and it just so right on. It's by Erica Jong, Jong. It says, "Take your life in your hands, and what happens? A terrible thing. No one else is to blame." Whoa, there's something to think about. Like, the thing I've said for years is, I am the only person that has a say in how my life turns out. And if that's the case, what do you want to ask for? What do you want? Do you need a hug when you come home? And what happens if you come home, you've worked all day, you come home, and your wife or husband says, hello, and your kids go, hi, Mom, hi, Dad. And then they go back to what they were doing, and they leave you standing there like, oh, it's you again.
No hug.
Yeah, and what happens if what you expected or what you hoped you'd get was a hug and acknowledgement and hi, Dad, how you doing? How was your day? So and you didn't get any of that. So what you do is you go sit down and I don't know about you, but some people have told me on occasion that I pout. Ha! I know it's not.
No.
Yeah, that's true, Susan.
Somebody told you that?
Yeah, I heard you talking to one of your girlfriends about me, and I heard that I pout. You know, I've looked at it very hard in the mirror, and I don't think I'm pouting. I think I'm waiting to get what I want, and you're supposed to know it.
Well, I agree with that.
Okay, good. All right, so now...
Pouting may not be the right word.
So asking for what you want happens everywhere. What happens if you're in a store and you can't find something? Do you just keep looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, or you ask for somebody that does the stocking of the store? Or how about this? You're in a store and you want a certain item, and you can't find one that fits you. Or you want a certain... Have you ever been buying a pair of shoes and you found the shoes you want, but not the size?
That's happened once or twice.
You know, and nowadays in shoe stores, you pretty much are on your own, so you got to ask for help, right? What about this? What if you're hurt? Do you ask for help, or you just stand there in pain? What if you're at a place? How about this? You get a note from the IRS that says you're going to be audited. What do you do? After the panic goes away, what do you do?
Call your CPA.
Call your CPA. And what do you do? Ask for help, right? Okay, now, what does a child do whenever a child needs anything or wants anything or sees something they want? What's the first thing they do? They ask to go get it. And what's the first thing we say most of the time? No. And what does a child do? Okay, now what about if we do it this way? No. Okay, well, what about if I just write a note and put it on your desk? No. What happens if we just write it on the counter? We'll talk about it in a week. What do you think? No. Okay, well, I'll talk about it next week to you.
And on and on and
on
on.
and on and on and on and on. I mean, what's the first word a child learns? No. Why? Because that's what you tell a child most of the time. All right? Now, no, the word no is a phenomenal discussion that we'll have later on in the show today, but it's all about learning to ask for what you want and take what you get. Now, know this. No one can read your mind. No one can read my mind. No one can read your mind. No one can read Susan's mind. And I've attempted, Susan, okay? Not going to happen. I haven't made it yet. We've been together for 30 years. I haven't made it yet. So what am I supposed to do?
You ask me.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean by that? And then I'll go, what? What do you mean? You know? And we rock and roll that way. Now, think about this also. What if there's something you want, and it's so big you can't even imagine how you're going to get it? What do? Ask for help. What if there's something you don't want to ever have happen again? What about that? What about dealing with things that you don't want? You have to ask that they don't happen again. What about if somebody touches you in a way that you don't want to be touched, or speaks to you in a way that you don't want to be spoken to again? What do? You ask to have that stopped. Okay? Now, the human mind is a phenomenal tool. It's designed to make up stuff, and we are, as human beings, walking, talking, making up machines. We make up more stuff you can shake a stick at. We also make up very quickly that everybody knows what we're thinking, and we can't ask for anything because everybody's going to think that we're short, or that we're selfish, or that we're conceited, or that we think we're better than, or whatever. And the truth is, there's not a single soul that you're talking to that is thinking that way. So what do? What's happening? Now, I see we got some emails flying in here. We want to do any of those before we go into the next break?
Yeah, Susan, go ahead. There's a lot of them. It's great.
Okay. This one is from Claire.
Just read the top one.
Okay. What I really want is more cooperation from my family when it comes to keeping their rooms clean, etc.
Yeah.
And when I ask for that cooperation, all I get is excuses.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions to keep my request from falling on deaf ears?
Well, real quick is you have to get a family meeting together. You have to teach people to honor their space. You have to get people to want to clean up their room so they can have more stuff in it. I mean, if it's
like take pride in it, sort of.
Yeah, take pride in it. But also, if your room's all cleaned up and tidy, put more stuff in the corners.
Well, one of the things I've suggested with the kids is that if they want new stuff to put in their room, they have to get... If they get the new stuff, they have to get rid of some old stuff that they don't need anymore.
Way cool. That's exactly right. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to come back after this next break, and this doggone break just keeps popping up on us. You know
Give
what I mean?
Clay what he wants.
Well,
Give him what he wants.
Yeah, no breaks.
Please.
No, got to have breaks. All right, so you're listening to Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on KZSB-AM. I want you to come back, so get on back here, and that's a strong request.
Planting nothing ever seen.